Grade 7, The Valley of Fear by Arthur Conan Doyle, Act 1, Scene 14. For more videos on the same topic, please subscribe my channel, Learners on Board. Setting, Burlstone Manor, 1895, The Study. Characters, Mrs. Ellen, Mrs. Douglas, Ames, Barker, Sherlock Holmes, Inspector MacDonald, Dr. John H. Watson. Summary: Ames, Barker, Mrs. Ellen, and Mrs. Douglas tell about everything that happened before Douglas' murder. So there was a lot of information gathered with Holmes and Inspector MacDonald, like when Ames told Holmes that before the murder, Mr. Douglas went shopping in Tunbridge Wells and looked impatient and irritable on his return. Barker was a good friend of Douglas, and they met in California when he was a widower and his first wife died of typhoid. McMurdo had some kind of fear of a secret society, the Valley of Fear, and boss McGinty. Barker also added that he did not know Mrs. Douglas before their marriage. Douglas was jealous of his and Mrs. Douglas' friendship, and Mrs. Ellen heard the door slamming around half an hour before Barker rang the bell. She could not hear the gunshot because she had some hearing problems. Let's watch a short clip related to the same scene.
Come in.
Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John H. Watson are waiting for Mrs. Ellen to arrive.
Come in, Mrs. Allen.
I'm sorry I didn't hear you answer. I'm afraid I'm a little deaf.
A common enough affliction.
I'm sorry to hear that, Mrs. Allen. Because your bedroom is close to the study, I was hopeful you may have heard something last night.
I was in my room getting ready for bed when I heard Mr. Ames running past my door, shouting that something had happened. So I followed him. As a matter of fact, I didn't actually hear a shot. Funny, because my deafness is not too bad. It's funny, too, because I did hear a door slam about half an hour before that.
What happened next?
When I got to the bottom of the stairs, I saw Mr. Barker coming out of the study. He was obviously very shaken. He shouted that the master had been shot dead. He told me to take Mrs. Douglas to her room.
She told Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John H. Watson that she heard a door slam half an hour before the gunshot.
How did Mrs. Douglas take the news? Did she try to go to her husband?
No, sir. She turned on her heel and went straight back up the stairs. I stayed with her all night. She just sat with her head in her hands. I thought she took it quite well.
Thank you, Mrs. Allen. You've been very helpful. You may go. In the unlikely event that
It's time for a short quiz related to the same scene. Question number 1. Give your suggestions about Holmes' investigation. Question number 2. Who acted the most suspicious about Douglas' death and why? You may answer these questions in the comments, and you can also comment on your friends' answers. For more videos on the same topic and many other novels and play scripts, please subscribe my channel, Learners on Board. Thank you for watching.